For more on the GOP's health care bill, Paul Kane is in Washington. He is a congressional reporter for The Washington Post. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Hey, happy to be here, Elaine. Thank you.
So a lot going on there on Capitol Hill. President Trump visited the Hill Tuesday as part of his push to get Republicans to vote for the health care bill. At this point, does it look like the GOP has enough votes to pass this measure?
It's kind of come down to the wire. We've been through this now for 6 years of their majority, 6 years and a couple months, and it's never easy on a big vote with this House Republican conference. They just do things in a raucous fashion, and they've got a fairly new speaker and a new president. I think we're going to find out by Thursday afternoon whether or not this group has changed and is willing to sort of become what Paul Ryan calls a governing party as opposed to an opposition party. It's going right down to the wire. They've got a pocket of sort of moderate, centrist folks from mid-Atlantic, Midwestern states that are really concerned about the impact of the Medicaid expansion that came under Obamacare, and this bill would try to phase that out. And then you have this ideological right wing that has been a real trouble spot for them for many years now. They're under the banner called the Freedom Caucus now. Some of them are saying they've got 30 people from the Freedom Caucus who are going to be solid no votes. If that's the case, the bill's already dead. They only have 21 votes to spare. But I think there's a lot of bluffing going on by both sides right now. And if they really were 30 solid no's among that conservative flank, we wouldn't even be talking about holding a vote on Thursday. So we're going to find out in the next 48 hours in this kind of game of chicken.
So, Paul, tell us about this meeting that the president had with lawmakers there. We know at one point, according to reports, the president actually singled out the leader of the Freedom Caucus, Meadows, the congressman. Tell us about what that relationship is like and what kind of political pressure folks like Congressman Meadows are under.
Yeah, Meadows is a guy who had no real political experience before he came to Congress a few years ago. He is now into his third term. He represents Western North Carolina, very conservative country. He gets elected by huge margins. It's never really a contested fate for him. He helped push John Boehner out of the Speaker's office a year and a half ago. He's now the new chairman of the Freedom Caucus, this conservative group, but his district is now Trump country, and Donald Trump knows that. Those people in his district have a bigger allegiance probably to Donald Trump than they do Mark Meadows. Mitt Romney won that district 4 years ago by 20 percentage points, but then Donald Trump won it by 30 percentage points. So the margin of vote that just went through the roof for Trump. And what Trump is doing right now, and what Ryan and the House leadership are happy to see him do, is he's sort of putting it on the line with those voters in those really conservative districts in the belief that they will tumble under the pressure of Trump, because these conservatives know, gosh, this guy, the president, is really popular in our district. Don't worry about Paul Ryan anymore. The president is fully involved in this, fully engaged. And how do you stand up to a new president like that?
So let's say that Thursday this does not pass. Who gets the blame then? Is it is it President Trump himself, or is it the Republicans that opposed the bill?
Well, the first sort of option is there's always that punt. There's always the classic congressional punt formation when they can't quite get somewhere and they just decide, they make up an excuse to buy more time, and all of a sudden we could delay this thing a week or so. But if they hold that vote and it collapses and fails, it's going to be bad for both sides, frankly. It's going to make Trump and that image of him being the art of the deal man who couldn't close the deal with a bunch of 20 or 30 guys from really rural districts. Gosh, that's going to make him look bad. But the long-term implications, sort of more like the mid-range implications, are the congressional Republicans themselves, because if they don't repeal Obamacare, they're up in 2018. They're the ones that are going to lose seats in that in that midterm election, because their conservative base will say, you didn't repeal Obamacare, and then the middle center of the road sort of voters are going to say, you voted for a bill that would have really done some bad things to us. So if they don't get something done, it will hurt them the most in the mid-range.
So with that in mind, and that as the backdrop here, the political stakes, what are we expecting to see here over the next couple of days ahead of Thursday night's vote?
I think this is the time where you sort of, you want to go watch these votes that are on bills that might be to like name new post offices tomorrow, where you're going to get to see the sort of full whip operation in force, where you can just look out and see Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, Steve Scalise, the House leadership team, a guy named Patrick McHenry from North Carolina, friendly with Meadows, running around that floor, talking to people, putting their hands on their shoulders, asking them if they need anything else, asking them if they need perhaps a visit from the president to their district. This is the time where you're not going to see big changes to the bill itself as they try and sell, but it's going to be little side things here or there. Maybe the president will, give a shout out to them in the next rally he has in their state. They're going to get those sort of things, those little extra cherries on top that they're going to try to do to get to 216. Now remember, normally the magic number is 218, but because Trump took so many Republicans, House Republicans for his cabinet, Mick Mulvaney, Tom Price, Mike Pompeo, they're down a few votes. And in the sort of every vote to spare moment, gosh, they probably love to have an extra 3 votes on their side right now.
Oh, I imagine so. A lot to watch. Paul Kane, thanks so much. Really appreciate your time.
Anytime, Elaine. Thank you.